Our world is complicated. Bad things happen. Bad ideas take hold. There's so many distractions. People say things. Some of it sounds good. Some of it you just can't buy. And does it all mean anything or go anywhere anyway? Well, it does. Life does have meaning. And we're going to tell it to you right now. In the beginning, something gave birth to the universe. Who or what that thing was, we have a lot of opinions, but the best one right now is that we just don't know. We believe the universe is shaped like a shuttlecock, or like a shuttlecock-shaped bell that comes to a little point, like at the end of the inside of a bell, at the point, and then comes out like this, like a shuttlecock that goes, like... Or from a series of points that had no beginning. It's just circle at the end and comes out like that. Either way, we see the universe as directional. It doesn't shoot out from a point in a center and go out like a ball. It goes out in a direction. If you believe in the single point, it looks to me like the opposite end of a black hole. It has like something is sucked through and is coming out and then loses its shape as it drifts farther from its center. On the other hand, if it's the single blast, it looks like either a projectile that uses the rifling of the barrel that it comes out of, and then loses that as entropy acts upon it, or perhaps as a laser beam coming out of a divine person's hand or mind. It's not losing forward motion, so we don't think these bits of buckshot have hit anything. They're just losing shape as they get further from the source. We believe the bits of buckshot have energy and matter that expand, contract, dissipate, extinguish, ignite. About 13.5 billion years ago, some of this energy and matter swirled around itself and formed what we call the Milky Way. And then about 4.75 billion years ago, some of the energy and matter in the Milky Way rolled around into our sun and sucked in our solar system, and in about a quarter billion years after that, the Earth was folded in like some lint. And our best guess right now is that humanity has been on the Earth for only about 300,000 years. Our entire species' lifespan to this point has been only 1/16,000th of just our galaxies. And our galaxy is expected to go on for another 4 billion years until it collides with Andromeda and drags our sun in with it. But don't worry, because our sun, due to natural increases in its heat and temperature and growth in its life cycle, will have long boiled our oceans and killed everything on Earth. And if you're feeling insignificant, first look at the truly bright side. In the big picture, you can't truly fail or really screw up. There was a recent motion picture called Ad Astra in which the villain had access to antimatter that threatened to throw entire planets off their rotations and destroy the solar system. Even if the villain had accomplished this, would his actions have changed even the shape or function of our galaxy, or even rated a footnote in the history of the universe? Truly we are as the dust under our feet and constituted with as much or as little permanence. Your humility and smallness are clear and they are real. It's hard to feel special when you find out the sun is a nobody in the big scheme of things. But he's not really a nobody to you, is he? Knowing your place, size, and breadth can be such a drag when we are born afresh into experiences that we feel so fully and singularly and happen to us and only us, and we fear that they'll end and there'll be no record of them and no feeling of them when we leave these bodies that we are constituted in now. And we can see little meaning or purpose in our lives if our body's abilities to appreciate them are gone. And it's true. You are not more special or more permanent. Your experiences are not more real or more memorable than those of the blade of the grass or that bacteria under your fingernail. And yet you are special and rare in that you exist at all. Think about how many things have never existed and never will. And beyond that, you belong to a species that you know can shape that grass. You can mow it down, you can carve it up, you can replant new grass, you can plant it, you can put it in the shape of your face. And that's where we get this conflict of humility and arrogance. Our knowledge of this conflict came from the evolution of our species' mastery of the grass and the rocks and the sea that we perhaps crawled or flew out of. We got so good at competing and finding myriad ways to survive that we gained sufficient sophistication to, in our leisure time, consider the deaths of all our forebears to date its own seeming inevitability and just what lies beyond it, which trigger our instincts to find ways around this unknown impending time of death. We mastered grass and stone, and we mastered keeping our young warm. And those mastering one thing attracted mates who mastered another. And we found many facets for mastery and means of survival. As an aside, think about how much our species gained after we learned use of our hands. There's a movie called Dead Ringers where a character wonders why we walk upright and expose our vital organs to attack. Well, just think about humans reaching up and how much our brains developed after we learned dexterity. And so we've built a species that can reproduce freely almost anywhere on this planet and live a lengthened lifespan, although you see how short a lengthened lifespan really is. All of our advances in sophistication and successes in surviving and trying to beat individual death have created the problems of wondering just what set it all in motion and why we do it. Near as we can tell, our species has been considering those two questions for just under 10,000 years. It's not very long now that we think about it. And the meaning of life, meaning everything biological, from sponge to grass, from frog to dog, is to keep existing. Stay alive as long as you can and reproduce. That's what made medicine, architecture, spacecraft, art, fashion, and advertising. It's all one thing, it's all one drive. The child going away to college to branch its wings and discover new things, and the mother crying because she wants to nurture it some more at home, they're doing the same thing. And part of this thing is our question, why? If we knew why, we could do so much more surviving, we hope. We fear maybe not, but Hollywood has shown us that if we find out the answers are bad, we'll start coming up with some solutions. Keep it going as long as we can. Promote genuine answers to try to find out where we come from and why while we're doing this living, so that we can live some more. And that's it. You only need to look at any other thing. No thing in the main tries to curtail its existence. No species. And we must embrace our purpose of survival to its fullest. The Hebrew culture and others put being a doctor as the highest of respect. And I'm all for that. Continue life, make it better. Scientific and medical innovation may at times be misguided or faulty, but the fields of extending our lives and our understanding must be held highly. That is the meaning of life. Now, within life, we have all of these moments of interaction with each other in our universe, and it is our brain's function to sort these interactions into harmful, helpful, or neutral, and to make them advantageous to our survival. Now that we are clear on our motivations and our purpose, we're going to help you limit the problems in life that you're the author of. Deal with those, and the ones that you are not. This is no doomsday cult. There's no poison punch coming or mass castration yet. This is about enjoying this life. Learning how to make the most out of this existence. This is not just about the race surviving till it can find from whence the wind came that blew it here. We believe you should, as the movie Blade Runner said, revel in your time. We want you to thrive. We believe that you, with all of your knowledge and all of your sophistication, should be about as happy as a dog chasing a stick most of the time. Man's existence is short, but it's existence. That's worth getting ecstatic about. But the first law is that you are no more special than anything else in existence. You are constituted of some mix of the same particles, only by fortune constituted as you are now. And so you are only entitled to the same pursuit of survival and happiness as anything else. The moments of your life are all concurrent with the moments of the lives of so many of all variety. You must remember in your dealings with the universe that you are not in any part its center but your own. This is not telling you to only consider yourself, but the opposite. When you tread on the pursuit of others' aims, you invite a whole host of potential repercussions. When two part happily, they are likely to meet again happily should they meet. Providing good times leads to future good times. The mental weight of the fruits of unscrupulous or overly shrewd business dealings will not make you happy. The wasted, never to be regained moments of your brain's life will ruin the enjoyment of any profits, or perceived power. A venturer with a partner would do well to look to his partner's happiness. A worthy partner, even if not repaying you in kind, will have had removed many a motive for its own potential unscrupulousness. If you're looking for happy good times, look around the corner, because the path you're going to tread on will invariably be paved by someone from whom you borrowed a trowel. Every interaction in life is at least a limited partnership of some kind. This is not instruction for you to bend the ear of every cashier and try to pass on and impart this feeling of warmth that you have. It is telling you to gauge your desires and gauge the desires of the cashier before interacting. How much do you want to talk to this cashier? How much do you think the cashier wants to talk to you based on your limited knowledge of their existence? This is the basis of truly happy interaction. You may gauge their interest in conversation incorrectly. They may not take any of your desires into account at all. You may find the conversation electrifying and you may not. If there are people behind you in line, you need to take into account the momentary desires of each of these disparate beings to the best of your ability. If you pay all of those people and yourself that basic respect, you will have the happiest possible outcome. You will have conducted your business with full rights as a customer and caused yourself and everyone around you the least amount of pain possible in doing so. The people behind you in line would likely enjoy you conducting your business, saying as little as possible and moving along, and so might the cashier, but maybe not. Here are 2 methods you can use to detect other people's desires and what will make them happy. 1. Listen more, talk less. 2. Read fiction. Reading is highly encouraged in general, but for empathy and emotional intelligence, walking around in another person's imaginings of imaginary people in a world they have created puts you more in touch with another person's mind and how they think and see the world and get outside of your own more than anything I know. I know life is crowded and reading fiction sometimes seems like just an escape or a waste of time, and I'm encouraging you to read difficult and adult books. Push your understanding. Explore according to your interests, but also go outside of them. I make it a point to read books by people who seem as far apart from me and as different from me as possible, and also by people who seem very much like me. An appreciation of fiction will increase your ability to appreciate and understand your fellow man. Will Rogers said he never met a man he didn't like, and I'm pretty much of the same opinion, and I attribute a lot of it to reading fiction. It will also teach you just how limited the scope of your knowledge really is. They say ignorance is bliss, but I don't believe that willful ignorance is bliss at all. I think it's a gnawing in your brain. I don't believe that modern man can be willfully, happily dumb. When you know you're limiting yourself, it makes you sad. Our happiness in our knowledge of what we know we do not know exists only in relation to us not considering it, to the other distractions in life.